Hi everyone, welcome back to Jasmine Figures It Out. Today we're diving deep into the story of Wicked. It's not just a Broadway sensation, but a layered exploration of emotional intelligence, power dynamics, and what it means to navigate relationships with people who may not share your values or your maturity. Most of you know that I love to talk about friendships, boundaries, and emotional growth, and Wicked gives us so much to explore. I was so touched by watching this movie. I literally just watched it last night. For some reason, the imagery in the advertisement was called to it. I'm not a big Wizard of Oz fan, and I've never read the books or seen the Broadway show of Wicked. But I happened to get the poster when I saw it in Walmart just because this imagery, and I'm going to get into that later, but also because I've sort of been navigating some things in my life, and when I saw it play out on the screen, or the way I was receiving it, because some things I've been going through with relationships, it was so deep to me, to the core, what I was looking at, and it helped me understand some of the challenges I've been experiencing in some of my relationships. There are so many layers here that I want to explore, and in this video, I'm probably going to focus on Alphaba, Glenda. However, I'm going to do some other videos because I want to talk about the Munchkins. I want to talk about the Prince. I forget his name. I'm so bad with names. I want to talk about some of these other characters and what I saw underneath that about the relationship dynamics and personalities and values and growth and all the things that I kind of like to talk about on this channel. And a lot of this reflection could have a lot to do about what I'm experiencing right now, where I'm at right now. And my opinion can change, which happens a lot when I see movies again and I am looking at it from a different perspective of where I'm at in my life, and I can see things differently. But as far as today, I hear a lot of people saying like this stories about how Glenda can change and change to be a better person. But what I saw was Glenda did not really change. At her core, she remained the same opportunistic person throughout the story. So let's break it down and uncover the deeper truths about these characters. Let's start with Alphaba, who is the epitome of emotional intelligence and maturity. From the beginning, her motivation is clear. She wants to do what's right. She fights for justice, agency, and kindness for everyone, whether it's animals losing their ability to speak or people being mistreated by a corrupt system. On the other hand, we have Glenda. She does show flashes of humanity and empathy, like when she helps Alphaba gain popularity by dancing with her. But let's be real. That moment wasn't really about true selflessness. It was a fleeting pang of guilt because deep down, Glenda knows she benefits from a system that unfairly elevates her while suppressing others. Glenda's core motivation isn't kindness or justice. It's power and acceptance. She's an opportunist, constantly positioning herself to gain influence and maintain her image. Her willingness to help Alphaba is always conditional. But even when she shows moments of friendship, her self-serving nature never disappears. Now, one of the most telling scenes is when Alphaba and Glenda are in their dorm room sharing secrets. Alphaba opens up about the green bottle under her pillow. This is a deeply personal and painful symbol of her mother's death and the truth about her father. This moment shows us just how emotionally mature Alphaba is. She's willing to be vulnerable and share something raw. But what does Glenda do? She doesn't fully understand the depth of Alphaba's pain because she's too emotionally shallow to grasp it. And yet, Alphaba, being the emotionally intelligent person she is, doesn't lash out or dismiss Glenda for her immaturity. Instead, she adjusts to Glenda's limitations, kind of dumbing it down to speak to her, to meet her where she is emotionally. This is such a powerful lesson for real life. Sometimes when you're dealing with emotionally immature people, you have to decide whether you're willing to extend that level of empathy to connect with them. Alphaba does this repeatedly, even though Glenda never fully meets her halfway. Here's a part that really resonates with so many of us who are highly empathetic or intuitive. When you're more emotionally intelligent than your peers, whether it's your family, friends, or classmates, you often become a target. This dynamic is so clear in Wicked. Elphaba's emotional intelligence, empathy, and refusal to conform makes her a threat to the status quo. She doesn't submit to the agenda of those around her, whether it's the wizard, Glenda, or the citizens of Oz. And because of that, she becomes the scapegoat. Like they say in the movie, the common enemy. She's painted as the villain, not because she's wicked, but because she doesn't fit into the toxic system. Many of us intuitives can relate to this. I remember as a child thinking, I'm in a toxic home environment. My mom always tells me that when I was just 6 or 7, I said out loud, this is a toxic family environment. And what happened? I ended up becoming the family scapegoat. For those of you watching, I know you've felt this too. Whether you were the one calling out unfair treatment at school or noticing toxic patterns in your family, you probably became the problem. But here's the truth. Being the scapegoat doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you're the one who's brave enough to stand apart and refuse to perpetuate the dysfunction. And that's exactly who Alphaba is. Let's look at the larger dynamic of power in Wicked. Glenda aligns herself with the wizard because she sees an opportunity to gain influence through him. She knows she doesn't have the kind of power Alphaba does, so she seeks to borrow it. First by helping Alphaba rise, and later by maintaining the wizard's narrative. This isn't growth, it's strategy. Glenda remains an opportunist throughout the story, even in the end. When she shows a glimmer of regret, she still chooses to stay within the system because it's what keeps her safe and powerful. Alphaba, on the other hand, consistently rejects corrupt power, even when it means being labeled as wicked. She sacrifices her own comfort and acceptance to stand by her principles, a level of bravery and selflessness that is rare and difficult to maintain. And then there's the farewell. Alphaba's final act of compassion toward Glenda is so telling. Despite everything, Glenda's selfishness and her inability to fully stand by Alphaba and her refusal to leave with her, Alphaba still looks at her with love and empathy. She accepts Glenda for who she is, limitations and all. This is emotional maturity in action. Alphaba doesn't hold grudges or demand more from Glenda than she is capable of giving. Instead, she chooses to let go with kindness, understanding that not everyone is on the same emotional wavelength. It's a bittersweet but beautiful reminder of how to navigate relationships with people who may never grow in the ways that you hope. This is why I said, like I said in the beginning, I love this imagery of Alphaba reaching down to help bring Glenda up. It's a beautiful imagery. Even though she's painted as the villain and the scapegoat, she's still reaching down and showing how she maintains empathy. She's an example for us all. So here are some things that Wicked can teach us about relationships, boundaries, and emotional intelligence. Number 1, Alphaba shows us the power of staying true to your values. Even when it's painful, she chooses integrity over acceptance. Number 2, Glenda reminds us to be cautious of opportunistic people. They may show flashes of kindness, but their core motivations can still be self-serving. Number 3, compassion doesn't mean enabling. Alphaba shows compassion to Glenda, but she also knows when to walk away and protect her own well-being. Number 4, being emotionally intelligent can make you a target. Like Alphaba, many of us have experienced being scapegoated for seeing the truth in our toxic environments. In the end, Wicked isn't just a story about witches or flying monkeys. It's a story about emotional intelligence, power, and the complexity of human relationships. Now, this is just one of my takes on part 1. I saw some glimmers that maybe there could be more to explore with Glenda in part 2. Is she pretending? Did she, on the back end, kind of have like a plan with Alphaba to maybe save her, but she knows that the Munchkins in this society is not capable to ever catch up to the maturity of Alphaba, so they have some back end plan. She seems a little resentful in the beginning about what's going on. I don't know. Like I said, maybe you have more insight than I do. I'm new to this franchise and I'm kind of just starting to dive in, and I'm really excited about what I've already been seeing take place on the screen with this adaptation of Wicked. So I'll do another one of these when part 2 comes out, and I'm really excited to see where these characters go and explore this relationship between these two. And like I said, I may do some more videos if you're interested about my take on these Munchkins or the Oz people, the wizard, Alphaba's professor, teacher, or magic teacher. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, let me know and I'll keep diving in. But as far as this take, I'm really curious to know, have any of you ever felt like Alphaba scapegoated for your empathy or emotional insight? Or maybe you've encountered a Glenda, someone whose motivation didn't align with yours. Let me know in the comments how this story resonates with you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the share button if this video was insightful for you. I love to connect with you guys in the comments and hear about your insights, your experiences. I read all of them. Even though I may not be able to respond specifically to all of them, I value your comments and I get so much out of all of them. So let's keep connecting here and sharing our experiences. Until next time, bye.